Hello. Hey, beautiful people. How are we all today? Jane Dawson, JDTV Live coming at you today. And we have a little special for all you people who are interested in the wonderful art of mediumship. Yes, mediumship is definitely an art and not a science, and that's for sure. And that's why it can never be successfully scientifically measured. Now, welcome. I see some of you are watching as ever. Please say a little hello to me. Hello, and I love you. I'll say that from me to you, but if you want to say it back, you can. Tell me how cold you are, because in Scotland it's freezing. In New Jersey, where my lovely guest and friend John McMahon is, it's Baltic as well. So let me know where you are. Oh, hello, Marie, and let me know how warm or otherwise you are. I have the fire on. I have a blanket over my knees like an old granny, and yes, I'm a granny. Hello, Helen, nice to see you. Hello, Lynn Watt. Hello, Jackie. It's lovely to see you all. Hello, Kathleen, great to see you. So today we're chatting a little bit about all things mediumship. Hello, Miss Anne. Hello, everyone else who joins. And if you're watching later, a massive welcome to you as well. The universe knows when you're going to view, even although you don't. So yeah, so Marie says she's in Glasgow. It's freezing. Yeah, well, Lars is much the same, Marie. Helen, you're in Paisley. It's cold there as well. Miss Isabel Flores, good morning, my lovely friend. And you're in California, Isabel. I bet it's not freezing there. Make us all jealous and tell us how beautifully warm it is. Oh God, how much would I love to be in America? A warm place in America, not where John McMahon is, a freezing cold place called New Jersey, but a beautiful place. So yes, we're going to just have a chat, John and I, about all things mediumship, because we both came to spiritual awareness later in life. John, you'll see him, he's slightly older than me, but sure now he's a handsome man. He'll be look, I can see him smiling. He's off camera, but I can see him smiling. I told him before he came on, I said, you'll get a lot of propositions after this today. So feel free, ladies. Hello, Denise. Jackie, you're in Northern Ireland and it's cold too. I bet you it is, my sweetheart. We're all related, aren't we? We're all similar genetics, and we're all in similar cold lands. Brr. Come on, the spring. So yeah, most of you know my story about how I get into mediumship, or how I really, when I had my spiritual awakening, when my father, who had just passed, turned up at my son's birth, and that sort of kicked off everything for me, this amazing spiritual journey. And the fact that my father had answered my deathbed request to him to always look after my son in such an amazing way. And the things that happened after that, unbelievable miracles that defy scientific or medical explanation. And that is why I love mediumship. That is why I am 100% certain that a form of life or existence continues after physical death. Not only has my father proven it to me, but communicating with so many other loved ones and beings that you couldn't even imagine. Hello, Lynn. You say we need some heat and a holiday. Yes. Hello, Nando. You're in beautiful South Florida. I'm well, Jill. We're all complaining about the cold here, Nando. But we're all happy as well. So let me bring on Mr. McMahon. And I see some of you guys are students of mediumship or would like to learn more about mediumship. And you may be aware that I have a masterclass, not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So if you've done a little bit of mediumship, or if you're giving messages to friends and you want to find out more about it, then do join me a week on Saturday. So that's the 13th of March. I'll post a link to the event after this, and I still have an early bird price. Woo! And also I'll be starting a spiritual development course soon, so you can develop your psychic and mediumship abilities. And also I'll be doing an angel therapy course. Woo! So lots of spirit stuff going on there. And up my sleeve, just about there, not very far, I have a spiritually based Find Real Love Now 4-week magical transformational workshop. That is wow. So lots for you to choose from. Nanda says, I love you. Have a blessed day full with light, peace and love. The very same good wishes and love back to you, Nando. Hello, Dorothy. Hello, Jenny. Lovely to see you. So let me just bring John on. We can have a chat with him. Hello, young John.
Hello, all.
How are you, my dear?
I'm doing well. Good morning from New Jersey.
Yes, I'm really loving your New Jersey accent.
I'm kind of in between now. I'm halfway across the Atlantic, I suppose, between Ireland and here with the accent.
No, I think you're 100% Irish, my dear. There's no trace of New Jersey accent there that I can hear. Maybe the guys who are viewing would think differently.
Yeah.
But no, but you've been in Ireland. You've been in New Jersey a number of years now, haven't you, John?
Yes, I've been in America since 1985. I've been all over. I've been in London for a while before that, and of course, I grew up in Ireland.
Yeah, whereabouts in Ireland are you from?
I'm from a place called County Clare, which is, if most people refer to the airport there, it's called Shannon Airport. It's a very
yeah.
Well, I grew up about 10 miles from there, so it's very close to where I.
Very nice.
Related to the west coast of Ireland, not far from the Atlantic Ocean,
not
far from America.
Not far. But you didn't swim, right?
Yeah.
So what persuaded you to make your life in America, John?
Well, God, at the time, in the early 80s, Ireland had a lot of unemployment, and a lot of my friends were moving all over the world to find a new life and work.
Yeah.
And so I was young, I was in my 20s, and at the time I just wanted to see the world. So I went to London for a while. I spent about a year there, and then I had a wedding in America. A cousin of mine was getting married, and I came over, and I never left the country, and I stayed here illegally for a while.
But you're legal now, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's, as you say, you're making plans. While you're making plans, in life, your life is happening for you. So I guess it's just one of those things where I never planned on staying, but once I got here, I liked it, and I got employment. And
of course, and you're a very successful and wonderful carpenter. That's your day job, right?
Yes, that's what I'm doing this morning. I was just talking to a customer here this morning about her fireplace and her library, so we're going to build her something for next week.
Very nice, very nice. Well, maybe you can let the guys see it once you're done.
I will indeed.
But how about the other part of your life, John? How about your spiritual journey? Because you and I met how many years ago now?
2014. I had the great pleasure of meeting you in New Jersey.
That's 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming up on it. Yeah, late summer of 2014. You came to America to show us how to do this.
Well, yes, I came. I was with my lovely friend Karen Slember, who you already know, and she kindly invited me to the Spiritualist Church. Yeah. What's the name of that again, John? Remind me.
ISD, Institute of Spiritual Development.
And it's housed in a church building in New Jersey. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people, and that's where you and I locked eyes. Me from the platform and you in the audience, right?
Oh, okay. Well, I suppose it's. I mean, from my point of view, I remember when I did meet you. I knew there was something. I mean, all this stuff is always about your intuition. But when I met you, I knew there was something going to happen that day that would motivate me personally to get into this work in a more
complete way.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I haven't yet, but I've gotten towards it. I'm moving towards it. But I think what you said to me that day was what I needed to hear in a way that would motivate me to continue.
Right. Would that be Scottish and direct, John, by any
Yeah.
chance?
Well, you did it, and the worst part is you did it in front of everybody, where it kind of embarrassed me.
Oh, whoops! I'm so sorry.
Not really, but it
and
was nice.
And what did you actually say to you? Can you remember?
Well, you were rambling away. No, what you were at the time, you were talking about mediumship, and it was you had I think it was a 3-day or a 2-day course, weekend course, and that particular day we were doing mediumship.
Yeah.
And you were describing your own experience and how mediumship works and what it really is and what it really isn't. And you, out of the blue, then you turned to me out of 30 people, mostly women, and you said, "John, do you know that you have a natural gift to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue. And
right.
Oh my God. I kind of knew I did, but I didn't really have the confidence to feel. I still lack confidence, but it's one of those things where you, in that particular moment, it just gave me that sense of this truly is what I am and what I can do, and this stuff is real. The skeptic was still there in me because the mainstream and the life in general and people in general, my family included in Ireland, they all scoff at it, they sneer at me, they some had made very derogatory comments about me doing this work.
Oh, it's the same. It was the same for me.
Yeah,
it was exactly the same for me.
And that's the unfortunate part about this, is that it truly is wonderful to be able to do this for people, and for it to be true in the sense of life is more than just the material things that we see everyday life, and how we've been conditioned into believing that there's nothing outside those 5 senses except for, mainstream religion, which again is beneficial. But I think from my point of view, I was born and raised Catholic, and I never connected with it. I rejected it. I basically was an atheist. I didn't believe in anything, which is one of the transformational powers about this, is that it brought me back to a place of inner sanctuary, inner love, inner care, inner knowing, and it's just the positiveness of that. I mean, there's so many parts to this that, for me especially, but I think for everybody, obviously, whether you are a medium or not, it's that this is real, and it's a wonderful place to be when you gain the understanding of what it really is.
It's fabulous. Hold on 1 second. You lovely people who are watching, if you have any questions about John and I's mediumship journey or spiritual journey, please feel free to ask and we will get to them. So John, so you've really discovered that your soul, the inner part of you, is love, is eternal, is God, if you want to call it that, because God's not up, in the clouds. We're down here, and He's not judging us. And many religions, have it that way, that God's an angry God, but we know that the power of God is within us. And I think that's what's so fantastic about doing mediumship and healing, because we both do that, but you're a very natural healer as well. That it's that power, that energy we're using from our soul to uplift people, to uplift their vibration and cause the communication from the non-physical or the spirit realms for communication and for healing. That's what's so magic about it. Nando's asking for messages. I don't know if we're actually going to do messages, Nando, but if you have any questions about spiritual development, mediumship, intuitive healing, John and I can certainly take them. He has been kind enough to give us 10 minutes from his busy workday. So I just want to focus in on a few questions. So John, back to 2014, and I turned around and I said, John, do you know your natural ability? You have a natural ability at this. That is when the spirit pretty much bypasses what I'm saying and makes these words shoot out my mouth. Right?
Because that's what it sounds like.
And they grabbed your attention. But why But why it meant so much to you is because you knew it was truth in your heart and in your soul. You knew it was truth.
Yes.
And it stayed with you. And you talk about confidence. And, you know, I always say to you, John, you have to be confident. No one else can make you confident, right? Only yourself can make you confident. And you know that.
Oh, yes. I mean, but yes.
Yes. Okay. Good man. And you've been my student for many years, and I love facilitating your learning. Let's put it that way, rather than teaching. And you know, you've been in JDTV with me as well, because I think that time, did I not say to you? Did I not make you a promise about?
You did. You made a promise that you would have me on your stage.
Yes.
Actually sharing a stage with you. And I mean, it was world stage. We were on the stage.
It was the world stage.
Britain and Ireland and Scott and America. I assume there was
Australia, all kinds of people there. Yeah. So little did we know it would be this type of stage, but hey, 7 years later.
True.
But we may do something over stateside as well. We were talking about that, weren't we?
We were. And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it. So Jackie's asking, can you send me some healing, John, please? So John and I will send you healing, Jackie. You can also, I'll just show you these comments, John. I don't want to get too into them. You can also ask for healing yourself, Jackie. You know, a good thing to do is to sit quietly, ask for healing. Just do it for 10 minutes, even in the morning, at night, whenever you have the time, and you will feel uplifted. Ask the angels to come around you, especially because I do feel you have a great connection with them. Sweet Jane, how did John know he had this gift? John, great question. How did you know that?
I didn't know. I was 50 years old, and obviously I'm a little older now, but life wasn't working for me. I kind of became aware of continuing to do the same thing and hoping for changes to occur. But of course, that's, you know, typical insanity. But I'll tell you what, something came up on television one evening, and it was about this psychic. You all heard of her since, the Long Island medium, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
She's very popular in America, but she had just started then. And I was watching her, and of course I was Mr. Sneering at her as well. But I found something inside me saying, nah, this is real.
Yeah.
So I went, one day I was, where I was working, there was a little village we were working in upstate New York. And there it said psychic readings.
Okay.
I looked around and I said, you know what, let's give it a go. And in I went, and I got a reading right away, and I didn't know what to expect. I had a sense of inner wise that, you know, I would get something. So when I sat down in front of this woman, she pulled out these cards, tarot cards, as it turns out.
Yeah.
She started reading, and she got my mother. My mother is deceased, God bless her. And I could not get over how this woman, the reader, got my mother so correct in character, behavior, the type of person she was, and the relationship we had.
Yes.
And it wasn't that I was interested in what she had to say about my mother and what my mother was thinking about me. It was, how did she do this? I want to learn how she did this.
Yeah.
God, there must be some science to this that I could learn.
Yeah. So that's another sign, right?
Yes.
You see, these signs, they have to be quite shocking for you. They have to be in your face, a bit like me with my dead father that turned up.
Okay.
So that kicked you off, and then you had
kicked me off. And the thing about it was that every, as you know, Spirit does, they'll give you an opportunity. They'll give you an opportunity in the sense of openings. And one day I met a friend who is into the psychic readings, and she says, I have somebody for you. Because I always thought you were psychic, John, says the friend to me. And I said, I never knew this before. And she introduced me to this woman called Karen, also not Karen Slember, but another Karen. And the minute Karen met me, she said, you'll be doing what I'm doing.
Right. Okay.
And then it started to roll from there. It started a little bit, but of course, the confidence wasn't there. The skepticism was there.
Yeah.
But I kept doing it, and each that's the wonderful thing about learning, is that when you make a breakthrough, it makes you go further.
Yes.
And in your case, I found the exercises that I in class with you, that I find that you somehow sneak them up on me. And when I do the exercise, it turns out it's another breakthrough. It's without knowing that what I'm doing is beneficial and progressing me to the next stage.
Yes.
To the point where now I know that if the minute I sit down in front of somebody as a reader, I'll get something.
You do? Hooray!
So, I mean, it may not always be satisfactory to the reader, but I'll get something.
Well, that is fantastic, John. Yeah. And you see a lovely lady here, Pamela, says she doesn't call it a gift. She calls it her calling. And I would say that's right, Pamela, because we actually all have this ability to do mediumship.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to do it, but I have proved in my work with people who want to be mediums and other people who are interested that anyone can get a fantastic mediumship communication without any training, right? Without any training. And the secret to this is because I use people's creativity and the spirit uses people's creativity. So when I sneak these exercises up in you, John, you didn't know it was coming. You didn't know the MD was going to be like evaluating you, which is a thing I try not to do as well. And because you don't have the fear, then you're able to come out with a stream of beautiful information. Yeah. And I have seen you giving some absolutely beautiful messages, and they're so from the heart, they make me emotional. And other people that watched you and me in JDTV were saying the same thing, right? If you want to see John perform, so to speak, you can look back. I think it was the end of last year, wasn't it? December?
Yeah, it was November, actually.
November. And no doubt we will have him on again. So for those just watching, I'm chatting with my lovely friend who lives in America, John McMahon, but he's Irish, as you might know from his accent. And we met in 2014, and he was just starting on his mediumship journey, and he's come on in leaps and bounds. What do you think is the most important thing you need to do to work as a medium? If you know that your spirit and that you're able to connect with spirit, that is the eternal part of someone, whether they're in the physical life or the non-physical life. If we know that for a fact, what then is important you need to do to be a mediumship? You've already mentioned a couple of things, I think.
In my case, certainly practice is one. Coaching, I find it was very beneficial. And certainly by far the biggest asset in this is a belief in yourself, one, and a belief in it is absolutely true.
Yes.
I mean, and I find that when I relax, if in the if it's not a performance, but we'll say sitting in a reading, I find that if I sit and just simply don't do anything, and there's nothing to do beyond just to let all the worldly influences go, sit and relax, and just know that it'll happen. And just once it starts, I always say that I find that the general public, like I was, don't understand what mediumship is, and don't understand what being psychic is, and don't understand the whole process.
No, they don't, but we didn't either, John.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this stuff till after I was 39, and after my son was born, and that thing happened to me, and I learned more and more and more.
Yeah.
But now I've got a good grip in it, and actually it's very simple, very natural.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
You've said many things, good points there. I would add that you have to be bloody minded. I mean, I had to be extremely bloody minded. I've been crushed by other mediums, particularly teaching mediums in Arthur Findlay College.
Yeah.
You've had that same experience, John?
Yes, I have. I mean,
yeah.
And you know something, I suppose you learn by your mistakes, or you always learn by both the positive and the aspects where it makes you become aware of what is out there. I'm not going to mention names, but one of the things that I found was TV, and unfortunately the popular view on psychics are the best psychic supposedly is the one that gets all the information so correct, that gets names, gets height, weight, addresses, and all that sort of stuff. That's really not what psychic work is about. True, the parts about it is that knowing something about a stranger that there's no possibility that they could know, that the psychic is an aspect to it, but that's not really what psychic work is about, or mediumship.
Well, with the mediumship, John, we're after evidence, aren't we? So basically, we need to get some evidence to let the recipient, so the person living, know who the communicator is from spirit. So we need to, and you can get evidence very quickly. You can get it in one word, one sentence.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And when that happens, then you can go ahead, and the main message is, I love you, I'm here from you, I'm around you all the time. So spirit people want to prove that to the to the audience, or to our clients.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I find, and
yes,
we have to,
you know, just to add to that, to take the skepticism out of my own view on the work, as I was learning, spirit will always give you something that you cannot deny afterwards, that tells you all these pieces of information you got, John, in my case, are so impossible to understand from a point of view of there's no possibility you would have known these things. I mean, I always had the one with the baseball player. That's what I thought of it. I'm not going to tell the story, but it was probably one of those times where there's no way on earth that I could have
known that. Yeah. Well,
you
know, here's the other interesting thing, John. You know, mediumship works through the law of attraction, as everything else does on planet Earth and in the universe. So, like, if you get someone, if you have an Irish person in spirit, they will be drawn to you straight away.
Yes.
You know, and I've often found, if I have someone with a similar personality type to me, it's so easy to communicate, because the law of attraction makes the thought processes very simple, and the feelings very simple. You know, obviously they don't have a brain, we have a brain. So whatever we receive in our sky dish, our spiritual receiver, has to get translated through the brain and then out through the mouth. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, it involves our perception, and then passing that to our sitter or our client, what we perceive, without changing it so much, so that the client can realise. But I've had clients who've forgotten they've been married before. And so clients do get frightened and forget things.
Yes.
And I said at the start of this, before you come on, that mediumship is an art and not a science. Because of these things, it cannot really be scientifically measured, because of perception, because of law of attraction. But yet it gets some amazing, wonderful, healing, incredible freaking results, doesn't it?
Yes, I've witnessed people walk out of readings with me, even where it seems like they get up and life is going to be different for them in the future.
Absolutely.
It's just it's not the weight that's been lifted, but it's both their own mortal being is also lifted. I think it's that they see life differently.
Well, you've got to really, haven't you? I mean, if you know that you are an eternal being, and that you're always surrounded by your loved ones who are non-physical, and that you always will be with them, then that changes everything to me.
Yes.
It changes everything. It gives life meaning, you know, and purpose is the other thing. You know, mediumship, you know, explain that life is eternal. These things are part of my soul purpose, and I know they're part of your soul purpose as well, alongside the healing.
Yeah.
So you guys who are on just now, if you want to ask John or me anything about your spiritual journey or anything about mediumship or intuitiveness or healing, feel free. We've only got John for a couple of minutes, then he has to go back to his day.
I can hold on. I'm enjoying this. I can hold on.
Here's a message for you from Tina. Hello, John. I am from Dublin but live in London. What part of Ireland are you from? Well, Tina is from County Clare. Sorry, John. He's from County. If you watch this after we're done, Tina, John will tell you he's been to Ireland as well, and he lived there for a while. Interesting. Okay. Kathleen, I've been told before the reading that I can see spirit, but don't understand it really. Okay. Well, this thing about seeing spirit, Catherine, certainly I don't see spirit with my eyes. I do see orbs with my eyes, you know, these things that are caught in camera. And I do have a wonderful video of a spirit dog that a friend shared with me that I'm going to share on social media soon. But all dogs do go to heaven. But remember, when this body dies, you know, we need this body to wander about planet Earth and have a human experience. So when that goes, the spirit, the soul, our inner energy is what's left of us, and that's non-physical. So you cannot see that with your eyes. In general terms, you'll see it with your inner seeing, your spiritual self. Occasionally people see apparitions or whatever with their eyes. And, you know, if that's a ghost, then you'll find that's like a snapshot in time. So that's not like seeing a spirit who can interact with you. But sometimes people do see spirits of loved ones. And with you, Kathleen, I do feel a granddad around you very strongly, although we're not really going to be doing readings on this. It's more about your own personal spiritual journey, your own mediumship journey. But sometimes they will show themselves to you, and a lot of that, I think, can be because they're able to blend with your energy and cause these changes and let you think that you're seeing them with your physical eyes. But it's a beautiful thing anyway. So if you want to develop it, then you do want to come maybe in one of my workshops if that appeals, or something like that. But there is no need. Oh, yes, you see it in a camera. You saw it in a camera. Yeah, that happens often. Here's a question for you, John, from Anne. I have done some mediumship training, but I seem to have lost my way with it. What would you say to Anne about that?
Well, immediately I say you don't see it as that you've lost your way. I see it as, well, first of all, what is your interest level in continuing with mediumship or pursuing some sort of psychic work? I just immediately feel this in the energy of the question that you are very interested. Based upon that, just keep continuing. You'll come to little bumps in the road. It's not you've lost your way. It's more now that the newness is of the learning that you're able to do this work is gone. In some sense, you feel that you should have progressed or that you should be at another part of this journey. No, I feel, in my experience anyway, that you continue, and once you continue and put an effort in, it just unfolds. The spirit will show you things that you cannot deny.
Yes.
And that it'll motivate you to continue. That's the story I hear from most mediums. They were given something that motivated them to get over the hurdles that they've put in front of themselves. We all do it. I do it. I mean, I know.
Most of
us.
But that's what I mean about being bloody minded, Anne. You've got to really want to go for it. You've got to be willing to have people say no to you and communicate with the spirit beings and be able to stand in your own power and turn that into a yes.
Yes.
Because I remember standing in platforms in Arthur Findlay College, which is a very famous mediumship place in England, and I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to, my stomach was going to give way, let me just put it that way. I thought I'll never be able to do this. I was several times squashed by very very unpleasant teachers, some beautiful teachers there, don't get me wrong, but you have to be bloody minded. You have to, I want to do this much more than I don't want to do it. Right, John?
Yeah, and it's, and you'll be quite honest, this is what makes people continue, is that you come to those roadblocks, those inner doubts, those lack of self-belief, those that chatter that's always coming from the outside about it not being real. I feel in this woman's case that it's all about listening to others talking about measuring what psychics are and what they should and shouldn't be, and how if you're not at that level of mediumship, then you're not really a medium as such in comparison. The media and the mainstream and the TV stuff that you see on TV, I guarantee you, folks, it's not what it really is like. In the sense of, you see a slot of 30 minutes of Long Island medium, for instance. She would have spent maybe an hour and a half doing a reading. You'll get little snapshots of what she did. Pieces of information that seem so incredible that the sitter is so amazed. That's not really, while it is part of it, it's not really the case. So
no, it's not really the way it works.
Measuring, don't measure. We do all compare, and we all want to be the best we can at anything we do. But one of the things that I have found over the years is, if you're interested in this and you want to continue. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. It's your journey, it's your inner knowing, and it is true.
And I would say, don't compare. Do not compare, because we all, because of law of attraction, because of our personalities, we all have different things to offer. The way a mediumship message comes through you, John, would be different than the way it comes through me. So we all need to be aware of that, and we are as human beings inclined to judge ourselves that way, but in mediumship we cannot and we must not, because the only way you can judge is really by someone telling you that's amazing, you're so right, and giving you affirmation that way. Any other judgment, forget it. Okay. But one thing I always say, John, do not tell people how to live their life. This is where the psychic and the mediumship thing kind of gets a little bit entangled. To me, if you're blending with energy, you're blending with energy, whether it's in a body, in a physical body, or whether it's non-physical, you're still blending with energy. But the rules that I would suggest is offer people options when you are doing a psychic or an intuitive, because nobody knows. When you're doing mediumship, you want to offer them evidence of the person who's passed. You want to prove the love, and you want to prove that that person's around them in everyday life still. And that, I think if you stick to those things, you can't go far wrong. What do you think?
I totally agree. Yes, one of the stumbling blocks that I have in my little trip here is that people expect, as a reader, to be told what to do in the future, to have this whole plan laid out for them, and they just go to that place, and there it'll be, and fantastic.
Yes.
No,
take
life
your power back, folks. No psychic can tell you how to live your life, nor should they. We can see various roads, various paths for people, but you're in charge of your life. Right. Now, here's Tim, Mr. Tim Abbott, who is a well-known tutor. I know you've been a tutor at Arthur Findlay College, Tim. I don't know if you still are, but he says he's the definition of mediumship It's not somebody who is famous, and as you say on TV, it's somebody's ability to mediate from one state of life to another. It is a way that is natural for the individual medium. Yeah, I think absolutely we agree with that, and that's what we're saying. Tim, thank you for that comment there. And with these TV programs, you know, they can take a week's work and they can make it into a 20-minute show because, you know, the thing is, there's only so much that happens to a person in life. The spirit continue with human life through our eyes, so they know everything. So it's a case of giving them that little bit of evidence, and that's what really uplifts people, that they haven't lost this being forever, they haven't lost this person forever, they haven't lost this animal forever. It's just in the next room, except the next room has no walls or no borders. It's non-physical, so the vibration is just a little bit different. Now here's someone saying here now, here's someone saying, Pamela says, I take it you're a Pamela. Sorry, Pamela, I met him already. Just go with the flow, but do Jane's workshop. She will help you to understand and teach you everything you need to know. Yeah, we spoke a lot about that already, Pamela. I know that was a comment you made to someone else, but I'm not sure who it was. Maybe Sally. Oh, it's to this lady. Sally, well, I'm doing the workshop next Saturday. Are you taking the workshop, John, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
So we look forward to that. We have a few people signed up.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm going to tell you. We're going to have fun, right, John?
Yeah, always have fun.
We're going to laugh.
With a smile.
We're going to get amazing, amazing, amazing evidence.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
We are not going to stress.
Right. Yeah. In some regards, with now that I'm Mr. Know-it-all here. I remember the first time I took a class where, apart from yours classes, it was when I got my first spirit. I could say that I got evidence and that it was all validated. I always remember that first time, and this is for the new students here or anybody who's relatively new to this. I always remember back to that time when I went, oh my God, just that feeling of
connection
and also
and
the
feeling,
new
transformation.
The revealing of how life is not what I thought it was. And I had a new thing that I could pursue, a new part of my life, and I always wish that would be the way it is always in the future. It is, but it's just one of those things where it's just that for me is always what I look forward to in class, learning something new, getting something that motivates me to go to the next part, the next class.
Here's the interesting thing, John. It's all known to you, us already. It takes a good teacher, facilitator to bring it out of you.
Okay.
And to prove to you or explain to you, you are totally connected.
Yeah.
Here's what's stopping you, and here's a way of moving you right on. Because when you came and did JDTV with me, you looked the ultimate professional, and you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it.
You enjoyed it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there was the butterflies at the very start of it, but in the end, it's not a performance. It's always about truly what you're there for, which is to bring through both information and love and support and all of the other aspects that mediumship brings out in all of us. That's the part that makes it pushes all of the outside chatter aside. That's in my case, it was, I've forgotten where I was. I was sitting at home in my kitchen talking to somebody in Scotland, and then it was, as natural as just talking to you
right now.
Yeah. Similar to what we're doing right now. I mean, or even what we're doing here today, right now, is mediumship. It's
Well,
part of
yes,
spiritual
yeah,
connection,
because
spiritual
we're
talking.
connected. We're connected to spirit, and
Yeah.
they are having an influence
Yeah.
on what we say, no doubt about it.
Yeah. And in some respects, everybody's life is influenced unconsciously or consciously in everyday life, our work, our children, our families, our wives, our husbands, our relationships, our going through life. It's basically a spiritual connection to a consciousness that is there for us all the time, and
Exactly.
and
That's
makes
very
and
well
that truly
said.
is the part for me that mediumship revealed to me, is that it's not about material stuff, which is a part of life, but it's not. It's more to do with how we navigate through life, and with an awareness of more than just the five senses around us.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
Well,
is,
I would call that becoming spiritually aware or spiritually awake, John.
Yeah.
And then you can choose to go on if mediumship is a path you want to follow, because you have to be called to follow it, or you have to feel it in your soul.
yes.
And it's not for everybody. I mean, it's
No.
just not. But it's
Not-
for us. It's
Yeah,
for
I mean-
us because
I mean-
it floats our boat.
I always hear this question from learning students in mediumship. Is everybody a medium in life? And as you say, we all have the ability to do it. It's just that some of us, it's in our path, it's in our DNA. It's almost like
Potential path,
Andrea
yeah.
Bocelli, the great opera singer.
Yeah.
Not everybody can sing like Andrea. We
No,
all can
no,
sing.
exactly.
So
Exactly. Well said.
what does that mean? Obviously, that's what it means. It means that some go on to do it in a professional fashion, some do it long term, and some just know that it's just something they are
It's
it's
there.
a part of their life.
Yeah.
While they're a carpenter or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I used to be a civil servant,
Yeah.
And that was quite a transition. Pamela says, I don't know the way Jane teaches. She probably teaches differently from my mentors. That's highly likely, Pamela. I have had traditional mediumship teaching at Arthur Findlay College, so you could call that the best. But I have discovered other things through working with my own students and absolutely newbie students, that if we work with the creative self, it is just supremely effective. And if we work with fun and laughter, because the spirit world is not a serious place. Somebody says, oh, this is a serious communication. Is it really? Because they want to see us laughing, joyful, fun, loving. That's how their love. And, they've not gone anywhere, and they don't feel the grief. They just want to love and support us and uplift us, upliftment. And that's why I love to work with humour. And I'm sure you would as well, John.
Yeah, I do. I start out with humor. I always,
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, why should it be both?
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
I want to ask you something, John. Your relationship with your mother was challenging. You don't need to get into details, right?
Yeah.
But now that you know she's around you all the time, and she's generally the first person that comes through, and she basically helps you with your mediumship journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
How differently do you feel about her now?
Well, there's two aspects to how I feel about her. Certainly, I'm not angry with her anymore like I was when she, in life, or after she passed for several years. She passed very young. She was only 56. But I suppose that with all the times that she has come through from other readers in class and, just generally, I just know that it has changed me as a person. I think it's more fundamentally what it has done for me as opposed to what the relationship was in life. That the relationship was and is what it was. But for me, I don't get angry about our relationship anymore. I don't blame her as I did before as much. And I know that her love was always there. It was just, unfortunately,
She
wasn't able
loved
to show it because she had so many of us to look
She's
after.
so many, and then she had this upbringing and this and that, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I can feel the intensity of her love from you, the real her, the spirit her.
Right.
I'm sure you must be able to feel that as well, John.
Yes, I can feel it. It's just that, unfortunately, you know, I tend to, you know,
that's
ignore
because
it.
because you keep going back to the human heart and yesterday, and you know yourself that's not the situation, but it's just another little bit of feeling you've got to do, right?
Yeah.
Because she's your biggest supporter. She is your biggest supporter.
She was the very first one that came through in a reading. The very first reading. It was my
mother. There you go. Okay. So from her perspective in the non-physical, she just sees you as love. And of course she has, she would have human doubts, you know, human sorrows about not giving you enough attention, obviously. But as you say, she was harassed, she was busy, and you were a little bit clingy. Sorry, John.
I actually, that's just a memory that just came to me. You must be psychic. I remember holding on to her skirt, running after her as a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
And she's saying, "Stop, John. I have things to do. You can't be
exactly like that." No, what she's doing, she's communicating with both of us.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's
See
putting
that, folks? See, this is what you learn.
See, thank you, John. Thank you, John's mom, for that learning opportunity there.
Yeah, there you are. See, even to the pros, we get something out of it. Yeah.
So anyway, I guess she's trying to explain to you where she was coming from in her human self, and just put that final piece into your forgiveness puzzle.
Yeah.
That makes me feel quite emotional.
I beg your pardon?
That makes me feel quite emotional.
Does it really? Yeah.
Oh, Tina's got something to say. Oh, Tina. John, I am one of 17 children. Wow, girl. And I am the third youngest. Life was hard then. My ma died at 57. You two have had parallel lives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was one of 13. I was the oldest, actually. So
you were the oldest.
Tina is 17.
Yeah.
Tina from Dublin, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually lived in Dublin for 4 years, in Cabra, Dromole, and Drumcondra, and what's the other place? The South Side. And then I went to America. So
imagine if you guys had been in a date, John.
Imagine.
I don't know what age you are, Tina. I can't see your photos, sorry, but that would be another whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. I haven't dated a medium yet, so maybe that's something. Yeah. Not that I know of it. Yeah.
Marie says forgiveness is very hard. Yeah, and you know, Marie, it's such a gift to us. It's such a gift to ourselves. And when our loved ones, our friends, and those who we feel didn't love us, like John felt about his mom, and the way I felt about my mom, but I resolved that. But just because she told me that she never loved herself or liked herself 2 weeks before she passed, and it just clarified everything. And my mother always tried to control me, not because she hated me like I thought she did, but because she didn't like or love herself. So
sorry.
So Marie says, I wish I had it. Marie, just ask the angels to bring forgiveness into your heart, darling. Just bring forgiveness into your heart. I can see it's fractured into several different ways, but I'm telling you what, if you don't ask for the forgiveness, it will ruin your here and now. It will ruin the present moment. It will stunt it. So please do that. Now back to this. Now look at this, John. Tina, she lived in a 2-bedroom house with 17 kids and her wow. Oh, I don't believe this. This is a dating app.
What was that?
Tina says she's 55 and looking for love, John. I think Cupid might be at work here, Tina. Oh, you live in London, don't you? Okay. Pamela says, I hated my dad, but being in spirit world, I have forgiven. I find forgiveness easy now. Exactly, Pamela. And the one thing about that is when we realise we are not our human selves, we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions, we are purely our inner self. All this goes, it's all else is false. So thank you so much. Tina's having a little laugh to herself here about.
Good.
It's so funny, Tina, because I told John, I says, you probably get propositions for women because you've got a good head of hair. I know we're laughing.
It's ball back here.
Oh, stop, John. You see, that's not good presentation. So, John, does anyone have any last questions about their spiritual journey, mediumship, intuition before I let John get back to his day job?
I can stay. I'll stay for the whole show.
Well, we're just about finished the whole show, honey. The whole show was you. But you're going to come back on again very soon. And you're going to be on my workshop on the 17th. So if you guys want to join us, you're very welcome. I still have early bird pricing for another few days. It's kind of like for nothing. It's like £69. Anyway, I just want you guys to progress in this thing if you have a desire to do so. Sorry, I'm still doing the matchmaking. I have plenty. I will give him some. There you go, John. Eh?
Yeah.
That's your Irish song. I love that. Oh, Tina is a very good-looking woman. John, where can people find you if they want to ask you for a date or want to get a mediumship or a healing reading from you? I don't need your home address. I'm thinking more your Facebook page or your website.
Website is, you want me to say it out loud here?
Why don't you type it into the comments on this post once we're finished, okay? And he has a Facebook page, and I've told him to put his photo on it, and he will not do it. So I'm very frustrated by that. So Tina, if you get talking to him, tell him to get his photo up on Facebook so we can recognise him.
All right, I'll do it this weekend. How about that?
Yay! John, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I'm not seeing any comments other than people looking for a date with you. Tina,
well, first of all, I just want to say a few things before I leave, or you leave.
Okay, okay, my dear.
One is thank you very much, Jane, for all the stuff that you've done over the years for me.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Personally and professionally. Now, as regards the upcoming classes that Jane is doing, I can say without doubt, of all the mediums teachers that I have worked with, Jane is by far the best in regards the simplicity of how she teaches, the manner in which she allows people to experience their own ways of doing this mediumship. Unfortunately, like everything else, there's all sorts of methods of teaching mediumship out there, and there's organizations that have this view that it has to be done this way, and if you don't do it this way, then it's not correct. Jane will allow you to experience it in a way that's beneficial to you and beneficial to your life. So I would highly recommend her take her class.
Thank you so much, John. That was very lovely. And of course, the important thing is, if you're wanting to do this work, if you actually, if you want to make a living or partly make a living with it or work with clients free, you have to get the results. You have to get the results. And that is another thing that I teach in my class, how to get the results painlessly and effortlessly by these methods that I teach. And you'll hear some more about John's experiences with mediumship. He's got a few good ones, John, don't you have? Like the Titanic one. Don't go into it just now, but he's got a few good experiences to tell you where he said something and then something went completely away in the opposite direction, but how he could have brought it back again and what he learned from that. That was an amazing piece. So Tina says, thank you both for a lovely and interesting afternoon. Definitely put a smile on my heart. Well then, we are pleased about that, Tina. We love to uplift people, and we don't care if you don't want to do the mediumship workshop with us. We're happy to uplift. Please keep watching JDTV, keep your eye on my page, and when John posts his information up, keep your eye on his page as well. So John, once again, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day.
Yeah, thank you very much.
People who are viewing, thank you so much. And we'll see you again very soon. Have a great day. I know that your loved ones are all around you. They wouldn't be any place else. Love you all. Bye for now.